Well, this is hello, everyone. Oops, how did I do that? Okay, this is our December 2022 meeting uh, to go over glutathione. This is the last of our sessions for this year. We'll be looking forward to seeing everybody next year, 2023. But we're going to be talking about glutathione. But before we get to that, I'm just going to remind everybody about this the book we have. This, Dr. Carrie Reams was a pivotal uh, personality in really getting this company formed and in natural health in general. And this is a story of his family and him. It's not a how-to book on using RBTI. So don't get that impression, but it really gives you a background on him, where he was coming from, kind of person he was, and the history. So it's a really good place to start if you're wanting to learn about RBTI. It's to understand the person who developed it. And I highly recommend the book. It's a nicely done book. I think you'd like it. So anyone who is interested at all in RBTI, we have these available, and I'd really suggest that you get them. Now today, we're going to be talking about, about glutathione and the product we have to help your body make glutathione. Glutathione is what you would call a tripeptide in the body. Now, most of you are familiar with proteins in the body, and you probably realize that proteins are made of amino acids, chains of amino acids. Uh, so there's about 20 different amino acids that most proteins are made of. And then there's a smaller, what you would call peptides. And those are, you might refer to as like short proteins, uh, but only three peptides in the case of a tripeptide. And that's what glutathione is. Now, glutathione is not a quite typical peptide in that it only has one peptide bond and another one is a different kind of bond, so that it isn't broken down by enzymes as easily. But a tripeptide is still difficult to absorb in the body. The body really absorbs proteins as mostly amino acids. What you call dipeptides are pretty easily absorbed usually. Just two amino acids together. You get to three, and they're usually not very well absorbed. And to get more than that, they pretty much have to have a special transporter to be absorbed. Most proteins are not absorbed, and I always have questions when you look at people selling enzymes to be absorbed by the body. Uh, it may be that some can be, but it's very rare that an enzyme could be absorbed and be active in the body. So you have to look at those with a bit of skepticism, but they're just too big and too easily digested in the body for absorption for the most part. If they're made in such a way to protect them from being broken down by digestive enzymes, that's another matter. If there's specific transporters that can transport them into the body, that's another issue. Occasionally, you have a situation where you have a leaky gut syndrome or something like that that will let things like that in that are not normally absorbed. That's actually a pathological condition, and you really don't want that to be the case. So a tripeptide, glutathione is a tripeptide, which may be a little bit absorbed, but it's very poorly absorbed. So we really need to provide the body with the ingredients to make it. So it's not something that we can just take a glutathione supplement. You can buy glutathione supplements, don't get me wrong, but people do sell them, but they just really don't work very well. almost all plants and animals make glutathione and depend on it for survival. In fact, a mouse uh, uh, model has been made that's glutathione deficient in the liver. There's no enzymes to synthesize in that particular transgender mouse glutathione in the liver. And that mouse died within about 30 days of when it's born. So that's just shows you how essential glutathione is. I don't know, you can get by longer than that without most vitamins and minerals in the diet. So it's really a very important um, thing for the body to make based on that mouse model. Uh, but all plants and animals make glutathione with just a very few exceptions, and even many bacteria do. And I don't know, most of you don't know what archaea are, but they're a sort of a bacteria-like thing. It's a very small organism. And they're actually not bacteria and considered to be closer to eukaryotes, which includes people and animals and plants. But so glutathione is not something that's unique to people by any means. It's scattered throughout the uh, animal kingdom. The first step of glutathione biosynthesis is to combine L-glutamine, L-glutamate, not glutamine, L-glutamate with L-cysteine to make a glutathione-cysteine. That's by way of a gamma peptide linkage. That's the one that's not a normal peptide bond that sort of protects the molecule from being broken down again. The second step is to bind it to L-glycine. And that's bound to the L-cysteine by a normal peptide bond. Now, normally, as far as enzymes are concerned, the first step is considered rate limiting. In other words, enzymes are control the rate of biosynthesis. Your body doesn't make glutathione unless it needs it. So it can be shut down by that first biosynthesis step, and it doesn't progress any further if that enzyme isn't activated. However, sometimes that enzyme can be activated, but if there's not the L-glycine available to the to be made into glutathione, it still doesn't get made. Now, glutathione prevents damage to cells in all parts of the body due to normal oxidative stress and metabolism. We all have that every day. It's part of being a person or an animal or a plant. We all have oxidative stress, and glutathione is the most important antioxidant in the body for dealing with those things. What sets glutathione apart from the antioxidants like vitamin C and E is that it is made by the body when and where it is needed. When you take vitamin C, for instance, it goes spread out all through your body. So you may have more than you need in the lungs, for instance, and not enough in the liver, or vice versa. You don't. You just have it everywhere, and that's okay. It doesn't hurt anything, but it's very non-specific. Glutathione is made where and when it is needed, and hopefully as much as needed, but that's not always the case. It's not only made in nearly all plants and animals, but all cells in our body. So it's scattered throughout the body everywhere. It's all dependent on it. It's probably the most important anti-aging substance that the body makes as well. Now, a fellow from Baylor University, and you look at the top part of this. This is an article from 2011, the Diabetes Care Journal, which is really one of the very top diabetes journals in the world. it says that reported there that prolonged hyperglycemia is associated with low glutathione levels. In other words, being diabetic and uncontrolled diabetes, uh, these people have very low glutathione levels and high oxidative stress. Now, he was experimenting here with giving NAC and glycine because he sort of found that, at least in animals, I think, that combination was more efficient than the NAC alone. And this was one of his earliest studies in people. Compared to controls, subjects supplemented with NAC and glycine had much higher glutathione levels and greatly decreased markers of stress. Uh, so it actually worked to give that. They used radioactive tracers in this study actually to be able to show that the glutathione wasn't just being shuttled from one place to another. Sometimes you'll have blood levels of something rise, not because it's being made more, but because it's being released from tissues into the blood more, something like this. But he was able to actually demonstrate using those labeled hydrogens that the NAC was actually being synthesized in the body more after the NAC and glycine was given. It really did increase the synthesis of glutathione. And it actually had a real physiological effect. There was, in this study, it was only 2 weeks, but there was not a big effect on blood sugar. So at least at the short term, it was not effective to treat diabetes in this study. However, the pathologies associated with diabetes were greatly decreased. So that was important, even though in these people, in the 2 weeks that they studied this, they didn't really turn around diabetes and cure it, but they did reduce the impact of the diabetes to a great extent. Now, another one that came up 3 years later, the same author, and he's done a bunch of them. We're not going to go into all of his studies, but they're all great and in very good journals. This one's in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism, a really top-notch journal in diabetes and endocrinology also. Very good journal. So I really feel good about his research because it's just published in the top journals. But this is about glutathione in AIDS patients. And this study was published, like I say, by the same investigator about 3 years later. The AIDS patients really had a lot of the symptoms of old age and not really well managed old age as far as losing body mass, dementia, and things like that. He studied AIDS patients who are really, like I say, a lot like very old people suffering from old age. These patients had low levels of glutathione that were restored with NAC and glycine supplementation. There again, this is in people. It improved mitochondrial function, which is the part of the cell, and almost all cells have mitochondria. That's the part that really makes energy and makes it work, makes your muscles work and function. Improved body composition in these people. And we're talking about people that have severe cachexia, that's really losing muscle mass, a big deal, great deal. And it improved the body composition in these people, which is really a big thing. And it improved insulin sensitivity in this study. So here in this group of people, it actually did improve insulin sensitivity and glucose regulation. So this was really a great study in a particular class of people that really need what glutathione has to offer. Now, fast forward to 2021, fairly recently, we did just an overall review of the research that he's done, and he's done more since then too. But he found that prolonged hyperglycemia is associated with low glutathione levels and high oxidative stress. We found that consistently through quite a few human trials. Subjects, when given NAC and glycine for 14 days, uh, compared to control subjects supplemented with, well, wait, this is another study, I'm sorry, had much greater glutathione levels. There's little heaven. Says pathologies of diabetes were decreased. So this is one that was in diabetes. I was getting ahead of myself there. So in this one, subjects were given NAC and glycine for 14 days. Well, that's actually the first one. Okay, I got to mix. I should back up. Okay, I did back up. Okay, here's the review of the current research. Sorry about that. In 2021, this one is in the Journal of Nutrition. So there again, the one of the really top nutrition journals. Using the combination of glutathione has been shown to reverse oxidative stress, mitochondrial dysfunction, we talked about that, inflammation, muscle weakness, and improve hallmarks of aging and body composition. Now, these are all things that are associated with aging, and the implications for healthy aging are enormous with this product. Now, one thing I would like to say is daily glutathione is the only supplement I know, the only one I've seen that combines NAC and glycine together, despite enormous work done on this. And there may be other people out there selling it, but I haven't found it. I've looked on Amazon and different places for it. So that one feature alone makes it one of the best health promoting supplements on the market today, period. I don't know of anything out there that I think is equal to it. However, it also has L-leucine. Now, L-leucine is a different amino acid. It doesn't work the same as glutathione, but leucine is known to increase muscle mass and improve metabolism as well. So these two things work really well together. In fact, L-leucine is the most potent stimulator of muscle growth that we know of. All amino acids in general do that to some extent. A few others like arginine and a few others do it somewhat as well. But L-leucine is the big one. It's the one that really stimulates muscle growth, helps with maintaining muscle mass. That's why I call this glutathione, not for making people skinny necessarily. I don't consider this a weight loss formula, although it will have that effect to some extent. But it's really made for maintaining healthy tissues, healthy muscle mass, healthy lean body weight. However, when you do that, side effect is to lose weight in some cases. The reason is as people gain weight, they often with age also lose muscle mass. The muscles in your body burn fat constantly, even when you're not exercising. When you're asleep, they burn quite a bit of use quite a bit of energy and burn fat at night. So you're really, as people get older, they tend to gain fat and lose muscle, and that's a bad combination. And the loss of muscle really aggravates and makes worse the weight gain that's going on. And we're finding a new term that's just I've recently heard in the last 2 years of sarcopenic obesity. That is, people who are losing muscle mass to a great extent, but they're obese and you don't see it. You usually think of sarcopenia as a person who's very skinny and sagging skin around their arms, lost a lot of weight and look, you know, just really poor. But other people have the same thing underneath all that fat, but you just don't see it, basically. And they're calling that sarcopenic obesity. And it's something that people just recognize as something that really does exist. So this product is really made to prevent that kind of situation, to help you maintain lean body mass, use your energy well, burn fat when you need to, and to basically have a healthier life. And that's really what it's all about. And from there, we'll stop, I think. It's been a nice topic. I'm really enthusiastic about this product, even though you won't necessarily get skinny taking the product. It's not made to do that. You're putting your body in a situation where you have the ability to lose weight if you decide to. The more muscle you lose, more muscle mass, the harder it's going to be to lose that weight. So this is kind of helping you be in a healthy position to lose weight, to be active and to do things. And with that, I'll stop and see if there's any questions or observations that people have.
Was there any noted difference in the way that the weight loss manifested between men and women?
Was there any different? I must have I'm not hearing you very well.
Sorry, I said, was there any difference between the way that the weight loss manifested between men and women?
They didn't report on that, no.
Okay.
Basically, they all lost some weight. There again, it's not a weight loss formula and a product really, but they did lose weight on it. A lot of people did. And of course, if you had the AIDS patients gained weight, actually, the ones that it will help you normalize weight. Any other questions? Okay, well, I think we can call it a day then. I'm enthusiastic about this product. I love it. I'm taking it. And I think that I'd recommend it for just about everybody, but especially people as you get older, certainly probably in your 40s, certainly in your 50s, and, for sure when you're getting up to around my age. So, it's a great product. And, for people who are really wanting to be athletic and stuff, I'd say at any age, it's good. So,
with that, Dr. Jim, if you can hear me, what about any interactions,
how about
side
what?
effects, drug interactions? Because I would assume that this product would be very good for the baby boomer age group. And what side effects you think would happen with the leucine and the glycine and the glutathione?
Okay, I'm not sure why, but I'm not hearing people well.
I was talking about the interactions, drug interactions.
Yeah,
that may
I'm not
occur.
aware of drug interactions. Let me put it that way. It's yeah, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen drug interactions reported. If there are, we'll pay attention to that. But right now I don't know of any. Taking it in a normal dose for sure. But anything has that potential. So yeah, you have to always be always pay attention to that.
What is the dosage, recommended
Okay,
dosage?
what we have in our glutathione is 2 tablets, and that would give you 1,000 milligrams of NAC, 750 milligrams of L-glycine, and 250 milligrams of leucine. And that's I wouldn't call that really a therapeutic dose. That's a fairly modest dose, but it's still enough to really make a difference. For people who are or normal people. If you are really a person under a lot of stress or something, or something like the AIDS patients. Now, this guy in these studies used some pretty high doses that I think are really unnecessary in a lot of the studies Sekar did. Some of them he didn't use that high. It's kind of funny, but he in some of the studies he used pretty high doses and didn't report on adverse events, but a lot higher doses than what we have here in some of those studies that he did.
Well, it's a great product to start the new year off with a lot of these New Year's resolutions. So
Yeah, I think it's a great product, and like I say, I know a lot of people are selling NAC out there, and I think a lot of people that are buying it are getting their money's worth because it's just not as effective without the glycine on there. A lot of people just don't make the glutathione with it, and the glutathione is what it's what it needs to make. The NAC on its own doesn't really do much. So yeah, it's a wonderful product, and really people who are taking NAC should switch to that. They'd be well ahead. We still sell NAC, and there may be people that for whatever reason want to take that, but I really don't think that I don't think it makes good sense to really for most people to use just the NAC. They'll get some benefit from it, but in a lot of cases they're going to be limiting their effectiveness of it because they don't have enough glycine. Anybody else? Okay, well, I hope you all have a good day. I wish I was down here where it looks like I am in the picture, but unfortunately I'm sitting in my office and no, not in the tropics. But I guess we'll see everybody. Have a great next couple of weeks. Great Christmas. If I don't see anybody, I see most people before then, I'm sure. I'm not sure about Derek if you're going to be out here anytime soon or not. But certainly we need to be putting our minds together to get the word out on this product and get it into some of these stores that we've been talking to. This is a great product. So you all have a nice evening, and I'll see you later.
Thank you,
Sign off.
Dr. Jim.
absolutely. Thank you. Thanks,
Uh-huh.
everybody. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Good night.